I'm going to call this meeting of September 16, 2019 of our regular council meeting to order. We're going to stand for invocation, and I think Bobby is here. And after the invocation, I'm going to invite Troop 89 to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, but I'll invite you all up when it's time. Bobby.
Father God, we thank you for this day that we have not seen before. We thank you, God, for all your many, many blessings. We ask you, God, to be with this council, continue to watch over them, keep them safe, keep them protected, Father God. We ask you, Lord, to help them to continue to have the wisdom to lead our city. God, I ask you to bless every person that's present, be with them, watch over them, Father God, as we come to do the business of the city. God, we pray for our first responders. Continue to be with them, watch over them, keep them safe. God, we thank God for them. We thank God for all of our leaders of our city, no matter what position they have, all the staff that we have, they really protect us and look out for us. Continue to watch over them and keep them. And as we go through this meeting, God, we pray that you will watch over us and help us all come together as one. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. We have Troop 89 up to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Whenever you all are ready to start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you all introduce yourselves, please?
My name is Liam Kaufman.
My name is Gabriel Downey.
Thank you. Thank you for leading us. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilperson White. Present. Councilperson Harris. Here. Councilperson Maples. Here. What a courtesy, Samuel. Councilperson Hawkins. Here. Council Vice President Gill.
Here.
Councilperson Owen.
Here.
Councilperson Ellis.
Here.
Councilperson Samuel. Here. Let the record reflect 8 council members present.
All right, thank you. And Ed got called out of town on business. So next we have our minutes. We will start with the approval of our minutes for our budget workshop for September 3rd, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now to the minutes of our regular proceedings of September 3rd, 2019.
Correction.
Okay.
It says during the roll call for 2019 R10 resolution authorizing investment deduction within the Jeffersonville Urban Enterprise Zone, down at the vote, it reads final vote 4-5, and then the roll call has Councilperson Zastani voting no. I believe he voted yes.
Yes, he did. That will be corrected.
Okay, so I got a motion and a second to approve the minutes with that change on number 3, changing Councilperson Zastani's vote to a yes. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Councilperson Maples, so you'll know, what we'll do is we'll change it to yes. We'll attach the new sheet and put that sheet behind it to show that we had changed it with what the original had.
And I know he's not here, so it's hard to change.
It is. No,
But
it's on the roll call.
I rewatched the video. He voted yes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the claims. Civil City first. Oh, approval of the agenda. Thank you.
There are no changes. Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Now to claims. I'm just trying to hurry to get you to
I
what
know.
you got to do.
Thank you.
Civil City first.
Civil City is $2,046,457.46. All claims are in order.
Okay, I just want to bring to the council's attention, and of course we have audience here, that's $2 million. Because on page 4 we got the property and casualty, we got $128,577.75 claim plus the $259,000 $130.15 claims. We were just discussing that in our prior meeting. And then also a huge amount of that was on page 8 for the $692,141.35 was for road paving. And then another huge chunk was that, which I was glad to see done. The Plank Road sidewalks on page 11 for the $52,721.31. Didn't want anybody to be culture shocked at the $2 million, thinking, "Whoa, we're spending a lot of money."
There, also the MVH fund had a vehicle, large garbage truck, which is $249,000.
Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion if there's,
So moved.
you have a second? Got a motion, actually 2 seconds. So we'll go with Joe this time since I went with Hawkins last time. To approve the claims of $2,046,457.46. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Parks?
Parks tonight is $151,646.53.
All claims in order?
Yes.
Question. There's some rubber resurfacing. What was that for?
Is that Bob Hedge? Is
Bob
that?
Hedge Park.
Thank you.
Oh, I knew that one. Okay.
Motion approved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the Parks claim of $151,646.53. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Heather. Report of the clerk.
None at this time.
Okay, we'll move on. I'm going to handle this. There's
you got
no
it?
changes for 2019 OR 49 for the transfer. Says if anybody don't have any questions, then I will take a motion to approve them third and final.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second to pass 2019 OR 49 on third and final. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We have a public hearing tonight on the 2019 OR 50. It's an ordinance of additional appropriation, which is on the board. Going through it, it's just our vehicle maintenance is moving money from the diesel mechanic position to $25,000 for the vehicle. Yeah.
No, this is the next. That's the one we just voted on.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute, I have that now. Okay. Apologies.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad y'all keep me straight. Okay, this is for the general, with the additional appropriations, this public hearing, the safety or the crew benefits of the $6,969, and to get his Social Security at $534, and the interest of $990. And we also have the request for the motor equipment supplies of the $10,126.43, and the backgrounds for the HR for the $2,300. So is there anybody here, and a member of the public, who would like to speak for or against this additional appropriation? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'm officially closing the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion for third and final unless there's any questions.
What was the vehicle maintenance? Do you remember? Is it the
Motor.
Okay. That was the reappropriation of the income?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to approve on the final.
Do I have a second? Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. My packet got out of order somehow, I guess, during this. Okay. We're moving on to new business. Councilperson White, we have Nick Creevy with River Hills. This will be a public hearing for the Main Street Revitalization Program, Spring Street Hospital segment.
Good evening.
Set your name and address for the record, please.
Nick Creevy, 309 Emily Drive, Jeffersonville. This is a required public hearing for CDBG applications. The city intends to apply for CDBG Main Street Revitalization Fund program funds on or about November 22nd, 2019. The funds are to be used for community development projects that will include streetscape and public infrastructure improvements, including connecting existing and new sidewalks, enhanced crosswalk, curb bump outs, curb ramps, wayfinding signage, decorative lighting, tree planting, bus shelters, public art, bicycle lanes, and replacing the right turn lane at Hospital Boulevard. This is the Spring Street section in front of the hospital. The total amount of CDBG funds requested will be $430,327. The benefit to low to moderate income will be $184,481,000. The city is proposed to expend an estimated $125,938,000 in non-CDBG funds for the project, and those will be derived at current time cash on hand. We can decide that at a time of application. This will be a resubmittal of the application that we did earlier this year.
So it's the same thing. We're not doubling up.
We're not changing anything. We're just going to go for it again. We have a meeting with the state to decide this Thursday to determine why they didn't fund it last time.
Okay.
So,
This is the last time we approved this right before the deadline, submittal deadline.
yeah, we got it in. They just didn't choose to award us. They're very competitive.
And what's the local match number?
125,938.
I didn't. Okay.
It's 20% of the overall project.
Oh, okay. I thought that was on the last. Sorry. I
Does
see it now. Thank you.
council have any more questions before opening it to the public hearing?
I didn't. Where did we anticipate this coming from, the 126?
I think before we passed it, anticipating appropriating out of edit.
Yeah, last submission was out of edit. We can change that this time. This is just the proposal phase. So if you will all would like to do something different, we can change it.
And we don't have to make that determination until they accept the grant application, correct?
We will have to identify funds that it could come from
Sure.
and that they would be available from, but we don't have to.
We'll get with Heather.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that match would not be required till next year?
Yeah,
No construction?
you wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't be until construction. That wouldn't start until probably late next year.
Any other questions from council? Okay, at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing and the public notice of the, I guess what he just talked about. So does anybody want to come up and speak? My mind's gone. Anybody want to come up and speak for or against it? Please come up and state your name and address for the record.
This is for the city applying for grant funding through the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, OCRA, with the state of Indiana.
Thank you. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to officially close public hearing. So, do we need to take any, we're required to have this public hearing, but I don't think we're required to take any action just to enter, I mean, nobody spoke, but just to have it on record that we did open and close the public hearing.
Is that all you need?
That's all we
Okay.
need? Okay.
Thank you.
My mind is somewhat here, but okay. Now we're moving on to, well, Mr. Murphy's not here. I did think I saw Matt Hall. Matt, are you going to handle the resolution approving statement of benefits for proposed real property and personal property tax abatement for Delaco?
Sure.
Okay, you have the floor.
It'll be resolution number 12.
Good evening. I am Matt Hall with One Southern Indiana. We're the local economic development organization for both Clark and Floyd counties. And I am here tonight to respectfully request your consideration for a tax abatement request by Delaco Castle, which is located at the port here in Jeffersonville. They're doing an expansion. They've been awarded a contract with Ford Motor Company to provide blank aluminum parts. That's causing the need for this expansion. They would like to do this expansion here. The project capital is about $5.25 million. That breaks out to about $250,000 in real estate improvements and $5 million in new personal property or new machinery and equipment. I want to note, and then I'll let Delaco speak, but I want to note that they have 156 current employees with an annual payroll of $7,250,000. And this expansion project would add 23 new positions at Delaco and add an additional $920,000 in annual payroll. Keith Price is here with Delaco Castle. I'm going to let Keith speak a little bit and answer any questions you may have.
Hi, I'm Keith Price, the controller of Delaco Castle Processing here in Indiana. Delaco Castle has been around, it's known as Castle Metal Processing, since 2004. We've been in the port for that long, and in 2014, Delaco Steel Corporation purchased a 51% ownership into the company. And since then, we are a favored supplier, a Q1 supplier for Ford. We've just been awarded a 150,000 vehicle blank operation, which means that all the aluminum F-150s that are being made at Kansas City, we will be the processor to make the blanks to ship to Kansas City from here at Ford's request. So you heard Matt say 23 people would be added on. That's a low estimate. It could be as many as 30. We're running 3 shifts, and we are continuing to supply Kentucky Truck Plant with the blanks that we currently are providing to them. So we are adding another cut-to-length blank line to accommodate that, and that's what this abatement will cover. So, any questions?
Thank you for continuing investing in Jeff. I think Matt got some.
I did fail. Thank you, Vicki, for pointing this out. I did fail to mention that this request is 5-year for the real estate improvements and 2 years for the personal property. And Delaco did complete the questionnaire, and they well exceed the point system for those abatement requests.
Council have any questions?
Average hourly rate on those jobs?
It would be over, or roughly with benefits, over $20 an hour. We have varying levels of people that we will be putting on the line, from operators to inspectors to packagers, forklift drivers, and we'll be coming 3 shifts on a new line. So currently it would mirror where our other 3 lines are at.
Yeah.
The math that Matt gave us is about $40,000 a person. I guess that would be an average. If there are no questions, motion to approve 19R12.
We got a motion and a second to pass 2019 R12. Is there any further discussion, questions, comment? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have the resolution authorizing investment deduction with the Jeffersonville Urban Enterprise Zone. I do need a motion to reconsider this agenda item.
I believe that's a public comment for this item. Is there public comment?
After the motion to reconsider. The motion to reconsider passes.
We usually have people talk about an issue before we vote on it.
This is the motion to reconsider, to even to talk about it.
Talk about the substantive issue.
Do I have a motion?
Are you going to let the public speak on this issue?
If we reconsider it, yes, I will gladly.
Well, if there's not a motion to reconsider, which would have to be from somebody changing their vote, I think.
I think it has to be from somebody changing their vote. Any council member can make a motion to reconsider and it's accepted.
Okay. If there's a motion and it fails, and then there's still public comment at the end of the meeting.
But not on the agenda item?
I don't know how that works. We've never been in this situation.
On the agenda item?
If the motion to reconsider doesn't bring it back, then the substantive issue never makes it back. And this is just procedurally how you all have done this. You follow Robert's rules. This is what it says. You take up a motion to reconsider, but that's a procedural issue rather than dealing with the substantive question of.
Does the chairman have the ability to allow public comment?
I'm sorry.
If there's a motion to reconsider in a second, then there's a discussion before the vote. That's Robert's rules, right?
Yes.
Is there time for public comment during that discussion? Will you allow it?
But if I'm understanding this correctly, because I thought I knew how this worked until you started talking earlier. Even if we don't have a motion to reconsider, obviously there's people that have something to say. They'll be able to say that at the end, just not right now. And it's only 2 more agenda items away.
Yes.
Okay. So everybody will still get to say their piece.
Yes.
It'll just be at the end and not in the middle.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll make the motion. You saying anybody can make? I'll make the motion to reconsider the resolution authorizing investment deduction within the Jeffersonville Urban Enterprise Zone, the ARC project.
I got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? I just want to
Can we
say.
have public comment now?
Wait a minute. Well, if we're going to reconsider, then we allow them to move forward, correct? If we reconsider, do they not speak and then we have public comment?
This is the discussion part after you make a motion in a second. You can have public comment now. Do we not want to hear from the public?
Okay, you're confusing me
The
because.
lawyer is telling you the motion has to pass to then talk about it. If it doesn't pass, then they can talk about it at the end, in public comment.
So I was right taking it to the vote.
That is what.
Okay, but I just want to say that this is not how I've done it since I've been on the council, and even when I was president. It always had to be somebody in the negative, but I just want, but I'm going by our legal counsel. We got a motion and a second. I take it to a vote, and then I can allow them to speak.
Yes.
If it passes.
And she
And
cannot
if it
allow them to
doesn't,
speak now?
they can
They
speak
speak at
again.
the end. Gotcha.
Can she allow them to speak now?
Just call for the vote. Just call for the vote.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson White.
Aye.
Councilperson Paris.
No.
Councilperson Maples.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gill.
No.
Councilperson Hawkins.
No.
Councilperson Owen.
Yes.
Councilperson Samuel.
No.
Councilperson Ellis.
No.
5 noes, 3 yeas.
So public comments at the end.
So we just got to wait a couple minutes and then they can say what they want to say.
Okay,
So
so we
do
will.
we not get to give a presentation, or we get to do it at the end?
At the
3
end.
minutes at the end for each of the individuals who signed up.
This is what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Okay. Now we move on with Councilperson Samuel. You have an ordinance establishing a non-reverting fund for the purpose of funding aid to nonprofit organizations for addressing needs and services for Jeffersonville homeless assistance.
Yes, in our packet, our attorney, Mr. Wild, I'm trying to pull it up for just a second. Our attorney pulled up, or gave us a sample of the ordinance that would establish the non-reverting fund for the homeless deal. He gave us one that had, I think, 17 bullet points, and he said that'll be your starting point. And after connecting with him and Ms. Stingle and who was here before with this, I would like to. Well, what's the number 13? Ordinance
51.
51. I'm gonna propose that we approve this with some changes. This will be what, the first reading?
Yes. First and second, however you want.
I'll be fine to do it on the first if we need to talk through it. I'm not trying to rush it. I'm trying to find the old one.
We approved on the first one. Can you make the changes and then bring it back to the second?
Yeah, let me just tell you the changes so you have it in front of you. Just the one that's can I glance at this? Excuse me. Item number 2 under now therefore ordained. Number 2. I'm proposing we change that to say any applicant must be a 501c3 or 4 nonprofit organization. they don't have to be within Clark County. We already say the services have to be provided in Jeff, so it doesn't matter if they're in Clark County or Floyd County or Jefferson County. If they're providing the services in Jeff and the council wants it, so I'm proposing that change.
Do you want 7 and 8 still there?
Removed.
Okay.
I'll give you this.
Great.
Great. Then on number 3, where it reads, the very last line, the application must be submitted to the Jeffersonville Controller's Office. We're changing that to the Jeffersonville City Clerk's Office. That was at the request of the controller. I'm proposing we remove item number 6, where it says the city must have control over how, where, and when the donation is applied, because they do that when they make their pitch. They tell us what they're going to use it for, and we approve that. Number 7, I'm leaving. Let's see, number 8.
You're changing that. You're taking that. Number 7.
Yeah, number 8. I'm sorry, I had my other markings where it was a lot easier. Number 8, I'm proposing we remove, leaving number 9 where it says it must be utilized in the city limits. Number 10, where it says all money shall be placed in a separate account. We're removing number 10. Number 11, I'm proposing we remove that. Number 12, leaving that in. Number 13, removing that. Number 14,
That's the same.
no, number 14 I have removed. Number 15 removed. Number 16 removed. 17 remains. Number 18 removed. And number 19 removed. Those are my suggested removals. I will send everybody, as Councilperson White suggested, the cleaner copy. But I can be happy to explain why I'm making that recommendation to remove those. But to remind us, our attorney, he said he was going to put everything in there, kitchen sink, and then he wanted us to kind of make it what we want it to be. So that's what I did. So I'll make a motion on the first reading, so we have time to change it, and the other ones to approve 2019 OR 51.
I have a question.
Sure. I have a question too. Sure.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Let's get the motion. Okay. Got a motion and a second to pass 2019 OR 51 on the first reading. Any further discussion?
Just a couple of the bullet points that were removed. I wasn't sure if there was any clarification. Number 14 has to do with not donating to organizations that engage in political activity. 15 organizations that are listed as hate crimes organizations. I don't know who makes that determination. And then number 16, organizations that have council members acting as officers or officers with executive authority.
From the first two that you mentioned, 14 and 15, that talked about the hate crimes and political activity or campaigns or whatever, we don't put that in any of our stuff, but we don't do that. I mean, that's part of it. I'm not against leaving that in, but it's just that was some of that language. It was like the kitchen sink was thrown in there. I'm like, just to reduce.
It just seemed it was excessive.
Yeah, that's the only reason. On the one about won't donate to any organization that that the city or the council members acting as an officer has executive authority, there are some entities locally we currently give to. I mean, I'm part of a not-for-profit agency. We don't receive any city money. And I don't anticipate applying for this. But we have current members that sit on Cassie's board. And Cassie's a homeless. They're going to help address this issue. And frankly, if Cassie can address it, and they're the ones that are applying, I don't think they should be
Exempt.
well, yeah, right, exempt. Or I don't think they should not be able to apply just because they've got somebody on the board that is in a position. I would recommend that the council person abstain from that vote, and that's how we handle other things. So that's why I moved that. Was there another one?
Nope.
I had one. I believe when our legal was here, I thought one of the mentions he was that the city will not donate to any religious organizations was one that he felt that he had to be in there for liability purposes. I may defer back to him on this. Just a personal, I don't know why we would remove the city will not donate to any organization listed as a hate crime organization. I'm not going to vote for taking that off. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remove limiting us donating money to hate crime organizations. So I just can't consciously vote for that. So and we can. I know it's the first reading, it got changed, but sure.
I always like to say when it says the city will not donate to any religious organizations, many of the organizations that deal with homelessness are religious organizations, and I don't think that we should limit them from not getting some donations.
And I'm not saying they should. I just thought our attorney said that had to be in there, but I could be wrong. And if you're just approving on the first, there's discussion that can be had.
Right. And I'm fine with. Let me back up here. I'm fine with leaving 14 and 15 in. That deals with.
I feel a lot more comfortable.
Okay. I mean, it's not a big.
I agree.
We wouldn't do that anyway, but. And frankly, if it wasn't in here, nobody would have said, hey, we need to put that in, because we never have. But I'm totally fine with that.
Now that's it.
Right, I get it. So I guess my motion, would you amend your second?
Yeah.
My motion would, all the changes with the exception of 14 and 15, those two remain back in.
All right, I got an amended first and second. Are there any other further discussion on that amended motion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Okay, yeah, in the first reading. Let's move on to 16. Heather, I guess, hasn't made all the changes yet to
Budget.
the budget, so we'll. Is that okay if we skip that? Okay, just checking. Then we'll move on to the appointments for the Plan Commission. As you know, we need 2. Do I have any?
I'll volunteer.
Is that, can somebody nominate Scotty
I'll make a
Maples?
motion to nominate Scotty Maples and Ed Z.
Well, usually we do it one at a time. I guess
I'll make a
don't
motion
matter.
to nominate Scotty.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed.
Motion to nominate Ed Z for planning commission.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Congratulations to Scotty and to Ed. Then we are moving on to this is an ordinance transferring certain funds within the same department. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory since there's not any big items here, but just to kind of go over, we've got general. The law, they want to transfer from other supplies to move that money into subscription and dues. In the cume cap improvement IT, they want to transfer their other supplies and into their IT software hardware. Parks Activity Steamboat, they want to move their money from other supplies and move it into the steamboat rental payments.
What's the ordinance number?
52.
52? 52.
Oh, yeah, it will be 52.
Motion to
She's not
approve
here.
on the first and second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any attorney comments? Can somebody text Heather and see if we're close?
I'd like to thank the council on behalf of Larry, and just to make this run smoother, I know we're going to open public comment here in a second. Any individual who signed up, when public comments open, you're going to have 3 minutes. Cannot yield time to another individual, and I'll just try and signal you when you get to about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But that's how
Is there any department heads that wish to speak? I don't see any. I really don't want to move into public comments without finishing our agenda items. Can somebody, I don't have my
Text
phone
you.
out. Okay. But if we have to, we will. Well, in the meantime, I need
We've
to.
got a room full of people, why don't we let them speak?
I have the. Don't you have the? Which one was for the?
Everybody who wanted to speak, sign up for the public comment.
Did she answer anybody?
No.
I need you to sign this. Oh, is this one? Did it not come down? Okay, gotcha.
I'd go ahead and public comment. She didn't.
Okay, I'm going to move on with public comment. If I say your name, if you're here to speak, I don't know, I guess you didn't have them sign up for the public hearing. Okay. First off, we've got Deborah Henderson. So when I call your name, please come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
No comment this evening.
Oh, okay. I cannot read this. Looks like the last name might be Cassis. Cassis.
That's me.
Did you have any public comment?
Yeah.
Can you come up and speak your
Sorry,
name
first
and...
morning time doing this, so.
Sorry about
Good
the
evening,
name.
everyone. How you guys doing?
Can you speak your name and address for the record, please?
J. Andrew Cassis II, 4070 Bucharest Loop, Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. Alan's a great father and husband to Lauren Breck. He's a mentor to many. He's a very passionate business owner who employs over 30 Southern Indiana residents. He's a civic leader with high integrity, always focused on improving this community. Again, always improving our community to make an impact in Jeffersonville, Southern Indiana, and Louisville. I support Alan and ARC for this investment credit. By not approving this credit, it could take steps backwards in going forwards. So I really hope you reconsider and vote yes.
Thank you. I have a John Ashton. Speak your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, John Ashton, 54 Virginia Drive, Jeffersonville, Indiana. I was here a couple of weeks ago when Alan presented and this credit was discussed. At that time, there was really no discussion from council, no questions from council, no one speaking against the project, and the council still voted it down. Councilman Ellis did, at least speak publicly to the paper as to why he voted the project down. But this project has been approved by every development plan, historical commission that it is required to meet. It meets all the requirements and approvals that have been done. It's a property that is in the urban enterprise zone that qualifies for the credit. I don't understand why the council is denying it, and I don't understand why the council is not providing comment as to why they're voting it down. It just doesn't make sense. It makes me think that the council members, other than Mr. Ellis, who had spoke to his reasoning previously, either don't have a good idea or don't have one that they want on public record.
Greg Pfeiffer.
Thank you, Greg Pfeiffer, 428 Meigs Avenue here in town. I'm here instead of Mr. Applegate tonight, who's out of town at a continuing education event. I just have a few brief comments, not having the benefit of having been here 2 weeks ago, but to follow up somewhat on the last speaker's comments. Without some feedback as to why the council would be against the granting of the credit, we're shooting at moving targets a little bit. So I've got, I guess my comments in that regard. I know you've adopted an ordinance that purports to adopt Robert's Rules of Procedure to run your meetings. I think there's case law to the contrary. I've not researched that. And in fact, on your agenda tonight, consideration of the resolution was on the agenda, not a motion to reconsider. So I think that's legally suspect to bounce this from public consideration on that basis, particularly without listening to Mr. Muncy as to what is either changed or what he had hoped to factually correct here tonight as a basis for, that could have been a basis for denial. I'm going to let him address two of those issues, and that is, I've heard criticism about the purported dollar purchase price. We think that's not true, and I think you should have allowed him to present that in consideration of the resolution, as well as the design of the project and what your ordinances require that dictated the design that was approved by all of the other agencies. And so if the design of the project is problematic, he can explain to you why it was necessitated in order to comply with the legal requirements that you put in place by ordinance. What I want to talk about is a misconception or a misunderstanding about the use of the funds, whether the UEZ credit is approved or not. And I would point you to Indiana Code, and I'll give your attorney a copy of these statutes. Indiana Code 367439G, which says that when a TIF district and an urban enterprise zone overlap, that statute goes to avoid disputes like this about how does the revenue get shared. And what it says is, to the extent that you have bonds that those revenues are pledged, they go there first, but everything that's left over goes into a special new fund that can only be spent by redevelopment on the recommendation of the UEA and by the recommendation of the UEA, and has to be spent within the zone itself. Finally, I think what Mr. Muncy really wants is not to be in litigation, whether you approve the credit or not. It's unfortunate and unfair that he's been placed in litigation over this issue. He'll build the project either way, whether you approve this or not. He came to you tonight because this is a way to end the litigation. His counsel in litigation has confirmed with Mr. Wilder that an approval of the credit would render the litigation moot. It would be dismissed. There's nothing left to argue about. And that's the only way for him to do that.
Thank you.
So I would urge you to bring this back again on the basis that there's information that you did not consider before voting on the reconsideration.
Bobby Bass.
I was afraid you were going to call me next. This guy was pretty good. I'm just a simple boy from Tulsa, Oklahoma, so my language may be a little more simplistic. Thank you all so much for hearing us out. Bobby Bass, 10037 Windhill Drive. I'm sure you all have families and television shows and whatnot so you'd like to get to, so I appreciate your time this evening. I come from a little bit different viewpoint. I actually represent the main tenant that was supposed to be going into this particular location. We run a concept called Mesa in New Albany, to where we have some of the best chefs come in, they perform, et cetera, and so that has allowed us to develop some really good relationships with some of these Louisville chefs. This particular tenant is a multi-James Beard Award winner, and this was their first shot. They were coming over to New Albany first. I talked to Mr. Muncy just in our real estate dealings, and he had mentioned this particular property. He really wanted something special for the city of Jeffersonville, so we started those conversations. We've been dealing with this for about a year, I don't know, 8 months to a year, somewhere along that line. This is all above my pay grade, as my mother used to say, so I'm just going to give you my story and kind of where we are at with everything. As you can imagine, with this dispute, you all have a much better landscape of the situation more than I do. It has caused a lot of hesitancy on this side of this particular tenant. The sad thing about it is it would be the first James Beard Award chef. For those that don't know, that's the equivalent of the Emmys, but in the culinary world. Very difficult, very high level. They get invited to New York to perform here. So to have someone of that caliber in southern Indiana, and specifically Jeffersonville, could be very, 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 very good to take that culinary scene to the next level. I don't think it's too much of a secret. New Albany's done a great job with the culinary scene, but I don't even think we've hit the tip of the iceberg for Jeffersonville, so we're very excited about this project. And just a little that I know about how this all affects, these credits allow Mr. Muncie or whoever that developer is to turn around and give that particular tenant a discount rate, and that's how we were able to structure this deal. I'm sure none of us like to hear, okay, well, never mind, the price is now double that, no matter what it is, or whatever that may end up being. So that's the concern here, is if we lose the tenant, I can give you my word, they've already got a location in New Albany to go to, and I just hate to see that for Jeffersonville. Sitting next to a fine man that has a little bit different viewpoint on this, and one of his concerns was parking, and I completely respect that, but in all honesty, there's not many places I want to go to that parking is easy to get to. If there is no parking, there's usually a reason for that. There's no reason why people want to go there. So parking is something that I think as a society we're accustomed to going to. Just went to a Bengals game yesterday, and I think I blew my Fitbit into 2 pieces because I had to walk so far to get to the game. So I think you all, with all the work that you put in, that's the look, the economic development that we're shooting for, to have more people, to make this a destination. And I think someone of this caliber would definitely add that to the culinary scene. Thank you. I don't envy you all. You have a lot of decision-making to do, but I appreciate your time. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
LaCosta Fike.
Good evening. My name is LaCosta Fike. I reside at 1303 Sportsman Court, which is the North Haven subdivision. And following this gentleman, man, I would love to have a James Beard Award winner restaurant here. I work in New Albany. All of my lunches are in New Albany. I love going downtown New Albany and seeing all the new restaurants and all of everything downtown. This project can bring so many people from across Louisville to here. And do we really want to pass that up because two sides are not getting along and they don't agree on certain things? Alan Muncie went out of his way to provide and build wonderful establishments in the city of Jeffersonville. Okay? I'm going to tell you, I used to live in Floyd, up in Georgetown. Okay? The reason why I moved is because nothing was accessible to me. I now live in North Haven. I love going down to downtown Jeffersonville, the river walk. Boy, isn't that nice? It's better than that old school that was there. He demoed it, put in a nice hotel that brings all of that attraction to downtown. So now what you want to do is limit more people coming downtown. That makes no business sense to me. If you build it, they will come. We all know that. And as you can tell, I'm an eater. I love to eat out. We spend a lot of our money eating out. I would love to be able to keep my money in Jeffersonville. Okay? I think we all would. Jeffersonville is growing. The past 7 years have been wonderful for the city of Jeffersonville. And I hate to think that we're going to let this go because of something very simple to fix. In your minds, it may not be simple, but I'm a voter, and I read the newspaper and the articles, and to me, it seems pretty simple. It was an agreement. It was agreement. And, he has went out of his way in the companies to provide we're not talking about putting a Taco Bell there. We're not talking about putting a DQ. We're talking about upscale. We're talking about bringing some urban life to that area. And you all need to reconsider this because you are really holding your all's hands back because they will go to New Albany. And do we really want to be second fiddle to New Albany? I'm not a bulldog. Okay? I know none of you all are. He was born and raised in Jeffersonville. He has contributed to this community, not only just the community of Jeffersonville, but also to Clarksville, your sister community. Okay? So you all need to think about the relationships that you're building, and let's not let this go to let's not let this go to New Albany. Thank you.
Mary Walker. Is there a Mary Walker? Going once? Okay.
I'm Mary Walker. I live at 6027 Pebble Creek Drive in Floyd's Knobs. I have worked in Jeffersonville for 40 years now. I raised my family in Jeffersonville and just moved away about 15 years ago, I guess, just to the Knobs. But I still work in Jeffersonville. I like what I see happening. I want to see it continued. I'm not a voter for you all, but I know plenty of people who are. And if I were one of those voters, I personally would be really angry that you all don't ask questions of Alan. You're not giving any explanations as to why you're voting no. He's the only one that stepped up, that was willing to take a chance on this crappy piece of property and invest his money and take a risk. And you guys are hindering that, and I don't understand why. And I think your voters deserve to know why. Those of you that do vote no, the yeses, thank you. So that's it. I'm not a public speaker. I'm just out here to support Alan and his project, and I want to see Jeffersonville keep going. I'm like Lacoste. I don't want to be second fiddle to New Albany or Clarksville. Huh?
That's right, we know.
Yeah, I don't. So, thank you.
Bill Walker. Yeah, can we refrain from clapping, please, so they can hear the names? We still have go like this. What? Wow. Okay, Bill Walker, you have the floor.
Hello, my name's Bill Walker. I'm my address is 2550 Allison Lane, right here in town. As you can see, I own Big O Tires, so I'm a businessman, plus I'm a co-owner of the property, so I've got two hats here. But I was asked to talk, and I haven't been to all these meetings, and I don't understand about development credits and tax credits, and I don't understand any of that. I do know that I own the store in New Albany, too, the Big O store, and I drive by there all the time, and I see that big empty lot thinking, man, this could be a project similar to the hotel or the condos, or, he built my store. I know what he puts into it. And I would love, when that walking bridge finished up and they got the big 4-station park and everything, and I am beyond amazed at what it has done to downtown Jeffersonville. It's like a whole new city opened up in downtown Jeffersonville. It's alive, it's vibrant, people everywhere, it's clean, it's exciting. And then you drive on down to Market and it's kind of like dead. And I was thinking, man, if we could get this thing going, get something big and nice and a lot of shops and things going, and I know that there's something going on up around 10th Street. That thing's supposed to be developed. We could have our own Miracle Mile right there on Spring Street, and I don't understand what's holding this thing back. I know you guys all have your personal reasons. I'm not about that, and I'm sure not a politician, but I do know that this guy wants to do something, and we could get this. If we could get that south end of Spring Street going, sounds to me like we could get it going pretty quick, because we got somebody right behind me that wants to do it, and I'm familiar with his work. So I know you voted not to reconsider. I guess I'm asking you to think about reconsidering. I don't have a vote in this thing, but man, it would be good for all of us as a small business owner and a property owner, and I'm guessing several of you may own businesses here or property here in town. It's good for all of us. I mean, because it's going to make us all more money. Let's get people into Jeffersonville spending their money and helping all of us. That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Starr, I can't even read the writing. So Jason here that lives at, well, it says 300.
Jason Sands.
Oh, sorry.
310 Spring Street.
Sands.
We've been working on this project for a year and a half. Obviously, I'm with Alan Muncie, and we've all put our blood, sweat, and tears in this project, and we're just asking the question, why? I mean, that's the biggest thing we've got is why. Why have you guys chose to not vote on the ordinance or vote on the resolution? That's all I got for you.
Thank you. Got Alan Muncie?
Alan Muncie, President of ARC, 310 Spring Street, Jeffersonville, is where my office is located. I've got 3 minutes, so I'm going to try to figure out what to say because honestly I'm a little in shock right now. The investment that myself and my company has made in this city over the last 48 years, both from living here, going to school here, building here, supporting each of you individually, being personal friends with some of you growing up, I don't understand. If I haven't earned the right to have an explanation, then I'm not sure what more I can do. I've invested my heart and soul in Jeffersonville. I've moved my business to Jeffersonville. It's been there for almost 20 years. The city has came to me time after time asking me to look at developing projects, which I have. The UEZ came to me and asked me to consider developing this project after another developer walked away and didn't want to do it. The Redevelopment Commission deeded this property over to the UEZ with stipulations to develop it, with stipulations that it be kept in the urban enterprise zone, with stipulations that it be developed within 5 years at the time that it was deeded over. The UEZ came to me and asked me to make a development. I was the only respondent on the RFP that was put out publicly. I was the only one that had an interest in it. And I spent over a year working on this. And it comes before council, and the council denies it to the UEZ. They deny the investment credit. The UEZ turns around and, as a thank you for me doing everything I did, sues me. They sue me. I have no choice but to come to you and ask for the credit. I'm in a lawsuit with the city because I did what they asked me to do. And I simply don't understand. I came to this meeting last time, and no one even gives me a courtesy of asking me a question or making a comment. Then I come here tonight. I spend 2 weeks trying to be prepared to try to assume to know what you want to know and try to answer your questions and put a presentation together. And you take a vote and don't even allow me to talk. I just don't understand. And I'll be honest with you, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to say I'm from Jeffersonville. I'm ashamed that I'm standing here in front of you. And Scott, I went to school with you. And I can't get anything from here. And Lisa, all you're worried about is looking at him to make sure my time's up. That says it all. Thank you.
I couldn't hear my attorney, so I asked my attorney what he said, so whatever. Teresa Tharp.
I have a question.
Tharp.
I have a question about.
Public comment is very, there's specific
Luckily,
rules
I
of
get
how it's
to,
being conducted.
Did you,
lucky me, get to run a meeting.
the UEZ approved the design of the project, correct?
Yes.
And then the historic board approved it?
Yes.
And then the
BZA
planning commission?
and Plan Commission.
And then the board of zoning appeals?
Yes.
Okay, so you have approvals from all of them?
All of it.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
And I was never given one reason for not doing the project. It was approved across the board.
Thank you.
Teresa Tharp.
My name is Teresa Tharp. I live at 78 East 18th Street, New Albany, Indiana. I do work in Jeffersonville. I've lived in Jeffersonville before. My father was retired Jeffersonville fireman. I have to say that it's been so exciting to see how Jeffersonville has come alive since the walking bridge went in and since a lot of the new developments and restaurants have gone in. And ARC has been a big, big part of that. And this project at Spring Street would only keep that momentum going and only be good for Jeffersonville, for the taxes, for the employment. And ARC has done everything they were supposed to do under that development agreement. And they're entitled to this tax credit. And we do not understand why this has not gone through. And it was an embarrassment at the last meeting to sit here and watch you all. You never even looked at Alan or listened to what he said, half of you. You were looking up and down all around, just like you didn't care. But we all care. We wouldn't be here if we didn't care. And we really urge you to reconsider this and to reconsider voting yes for that tax credit. Thank you.
Kelly
Bagby?
Kelly? Looks like
Somebody
Kelly.
close to Kelly?
On Wooded Way?
Kelly,
Wooded Way?
No? Okay. Leslie Lewis, looks like Sheets. Leslie?
Hi there. Leslie Lewis Sheets, owner and LL&A Interior Design, business owner on Spring Street for the past 25 plus years. It's my 5th building in downtown Jeffersonville that I've purchased and renovated and left in a better place. So my heart and soul has been in Jeffersonville for that many years. My family's from Jeffersonville. 6 years ago, we purchased property on Riverside Drive and have made the investment to build 2 new homes there, all knowing what was going to happen with the investment of the walking bridge, and we've seen it happen. So over those, and finally, with Alan and ARC and the development that they're doing, it's just, we're all seeing the benefits of the great things that are going on in our community. I know Colston Park, Alan's commitment to move his business from the more or less the industrial park where it has been to downtown. Finally, we're seeing in the past 5 years just overwhelming growth and accommodations for our quality of life, something that we're all so proud of. I know when I shared the activity with people that what's going on with the walking bridge, it's like unbelievable. And now just things are just blossoming at a crazy pace. And I just think that Alan, his commitment and to what he and his team have committed to do is just carrying that even further. And I've tried to understand what it is. I know we were working with Wyland, the first developer that was involved before Alan had gotten involved and gotten the property. And I've tried to understand why this is not being considered. And I don't know if we'll ever learn that, but I'm here to, as a supporter of pro-business, pro-community, pro-quality of life, to encourage you all to reconsider this. I didn't even understand that we were denied, that we were going to be heard after the vote had been taken. So I just hope that by hearing all of this evening that this can be reconsidered. I know I'm very active in the community. I'm appointed by Mayor Moore to the Jeffersonville Public Arts Commission. I'm on the Leadership Southern Indiana Board. I'm a member of the Speed Museum. I know Alan's commitment not only to our business community, but he's on the board of One Southern Indiana. He's encouraged next gen leadership's young future leaders. The Build-A-Bed program. I guess is my commitment to Jeffersonville. I know Alan's commitment to Jeffersonville and ARC's commitment to Jeffersonville. So to promote other growth. I just think if this is not approved, it's only going to stymie additional investment in people thinking that things can be proactive for downtown. So I strongly encourage you to reconsider this. Happy to be involved in any way. Happy to listen just to understand why it would not be approved. Thank you so much.
Ms. Sheets.
What was your address for the?
247 Spring Street is my business, and 215 East Riverside Drive is my home.
Okay. I think she left, though, but Kate Miller, she left. And Bill Whitaker?
No comment at this time.
Okay. That's all I have on public comment. So, anything from Heather? No.
I thought she was.
Well, you can go ahead and.
She said she was printing.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll move on. Didn't have any department heads to council comments. Councilperson White.
I will just say that I echo the.
Excuse me. I signed in to be able to speak.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on up.
Come
on up.
What's your name?
What was your name?
Janet Dale Himmelheber. I
Is
live
there
at
another page or something over there? Because it's...
That other public hearing went back with.
Oh, they signed the one with Big Creek.
Well,
Anybody signed up, his name wasn't called?
Go.
I'll allow you to speak.
There's a couple of
Speak
us.
your name and your address for the record, please.
Janet Dale Himmelheber, and I live at 23 Arctic Springs, also owned downtown in the historic district. I feel a lot of the energy in this room being divided, but I also feel like been in business for many, many years, been a part of Jeffersonville, know a couple of you by name. I'm a citizen, just a plain basic person, but I believe in doing things fairly. It does not seem from everything I've read that this is at all fair. Business tries to teach us all the time that life isn't fair, but I expect with my vote that we have some fairness going on in our local government. This does not feel fair. And I would like to know why this is going on. If somebody else wants to, maybe like Mr. Ellis spoke up, if anybody else who's voting no could speak to why, that would be great. Thank you.
Was there another person that
There was one
signed the
more.
wrong one? Okay, you come on up and speak your name and address, please, for the record.
Hi, my name is Brittany Free. My address is 1514 Maple Court. It's actually in New Albany, Indiana. I understand that I'm not a resident of Jeffersonville. However, I have worked here for over 6 years. And honestly, I almost feel more love for Jeffersonville than I do New Albany, but I feel awful saying that. All of my time is spent here. I work here. After work, I come here with my daughter, with my family. And it just really hurts to see that this isn't being given a chance. You know, I really think that I could help the city, bring more revenue, bring more people here, and not New Albany. I do understand New Albany does have quite a lot of restaurants, and that gives more, options, but I still prefer to come here, and I really hope that we can bring more places downtown so that people continue to come here as well. I just hope you guys reconsider. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I know, I guess I can finish council comments, or do you want to go to?
I'd like to go ahead and do council comments so
Okay.
they can hear what we have to say.
So we'll go back to, I think everybody's that signed the right one now. Okay, Councilperson White, you want to continue?
I'll just say that, usually in the past few years, there was a project in the councilman's district that councilman was granted deference, especially when there's a project that didn't cost the city anything. This is a project that was approved by the Urban Enterprise Zone. The reason there was not a purchase price was because there's $200,000 worth of corrective measures that have to be taken to make the soil stable in order to build something, because when the city tore down Tubby's, it just buried the rubble underneath and didn't provide a good surface. So the Urban Enterprise Zone agreed to contribute $40,000 of that. So, we could fix it for $200,000, then require them to pay us $200,000. That makes people happy that they paid something for it. Or we can let them clean it up so they can build something. The ARC was the only company that responded to the call for proposals. They had an initial design, and they were told to come back with a new design that was then approved by the Urban Enterprise Zone Board. They went to the Historic Commission, where they had to make some modifications again, to be approved, and then the Plan Commission and BZA. As Alan said, the basis of the lawsuit is that they didn't get the tax credit. So we could solve that if we approved it. The Redevelopment Commission owned the Tubby's property, deeded the Tubby's property over to the Urban Enterprise Zone, not requiring any money be paid to the Redevelopment Commission. Now people are saying that, well, that money should go to the Redevelopment Commission, not the Urban Enterprise Zone. Well, that was after the contract was made. So now we're moving the goalpost in the middle of the game. So there was a contract that was signed, and Alan in good faith and Art in good faith have completed what they were supposed to do. So as a woman said, that there needs to be some fairness here. And I think it's apparent that there is a party that's not being treated with fairness. The reason it's on the agenda, there was some talk from the president that it's disrespectful to put it on the agenda. There was a business who has done everything that they were asked to do, had in good faith completed a contract, who wanted to be heard again. Because no one said anything when they voted down their request last time. So I think it's appropriate, it's not disrespectful, to have a citizen be heard and want to know why that the city's turning down a $3.5 million contract or investment in the city. And I'm a little embarrassed, and I apologize for you not being able to speak before the vote was taken. I don't think that's the way we operate, or that hasn't been the way we operate, and it's embarrassing to me that happened. Something's got to give, I think, here. If we're going to make some decisions that are best for our community, then we need to do that. We've got 214 luxury apartments going up at the old American Legion site. Everybody's happy with the hotel Art built at the corner of Mulberry and Maple. Everybody's happy with the condominiums they built at Colston Park. Everybody's excited about the headquarters on Spring Street. Right now we have a parking lot that's been vacant for 50 years. Nothing's been there. I know for the past 19 years it has been non-revenue generating. So for all of a sudden, it's owned by nonprofits, so no one's making money from it. But all of a sudden, we're going to fight with over $200 million of investment coming into this city in the past 3.5 years. We're going to fight over Spring and Market and a $3.5 million investment. I voted for a $30 million bond. I voted to go into debt for this city so that District 6 could look good for all the developments going on out there. So the sidewalks could be put on 10th Street, so it could be a nice fence. $30 million. There's, I believe, $6 million for Holman's Lane that I voted for, to expand Holman's Lane, because it's good for the city. And councilmen in that district wanted that project. So this doesn't cost the city money. It will, 50% of the property tax that would be paid if the development didn't have the tax break would go into the urban enterprise zone, which then can go into local businesses and programs here locally in downtown area to help people, to help the zone residents. That's what it's for. That's the purpose of it. Also, people who live and work in the zone can get an income tax credit. If nothing is built there, then nobody benefits. There's a democratic process for this to be approved, and with the urban enterprise zone, and we should honor the contract that was approved and that was completed on behalf of ARC. We should give that deference. That's all I have to say about it.
Councilperson Paris.
No comment.
Councilperson Maples.
Usually council comments are after we complete everything. This is a little bit odd, so you'll probably hear me talk about some stuff that hasn't actually came to a head just yet. But I know Councilperson White just went over. I heard many people come up here, council as a whole. I voted for it. I can't explain why other people voted against it, but that's just my vote. I'm one person. But now that I want to thank Heather, because what you guys probably didn't see, Heather left and ran up to our office to do a bunch of changes we threw on her at the last minute. Actually, I think we were over the minute to change our budget with some last minute moving of money, which I found surprisingly went smooth. For us to add 3 new firefighters, let me rephrase that, budget for 3 new firefighters and work together down to the last minute so Heather can run upstairs and change it so we could vote on it to add to the city while not changing things that the mayor asked for, as in 2 new police officers. I think it's really good for the city. The 3 new firefighters, I think as a whole, were wanted by all of the council people. Obviously, we voted for it. It's been a goal of ours to add them for the District 6 area. And the process went, usually it goes a lot rougher than that when we're last minute negotiating or moving monies. A lot of parties involved. It's much appreciated to get something like that done. I know Councilperson Owen got the ball rolling earlier this week. We were in meetings all the way up until we came to this meeting, and then, like I said, thank you to Heather for taking care of that. Thank you for the crowd for coming and voicing your concern. That's what government's about. Thank you for being civil while doing it too. There have been people standing in the back of the room for an hour and a half, so thank you.
Councilperson Hawkins.
Thanks, Heather. Echo much of what Scotty said. And I do want to address a couple things that I heard that were not factually correct. I was a no vote for it, and I'm the one when Alan points out that he's known some of us forever. It's been like almost 40 years that we've been friends, and I was still a no vote. But to say that we didn't give reasons why isn't true. I gave a reason why. Two meetings ago, we met on this. Last meeting, we said nothing because we had heard this for the second time. The first time, I spoke, I believe, for 6 minutes explaining why my no vote was. And now, since no one remembers or looked that up, I want to highlight what that was, what those reasons were for saying no. They have nothing to do with the purchase price. They have nothing to do with the project design. And when I spoke with Alan, even way before this came to a vote, I shared with him my same concerns. That when this tax credit goes through, this is going to go, the money that will be doled out will essentially be controlled by the UEZ. The UEZ is not a governmental agency. It is not subject to open records requests. They are not. We have asked the former president in a meeting to tell us how much money can the UEZ put towards a project, how much do they have, and we were told that they don't have to tell us. So how can I, in good conscience, give taxpayer money to an entity that will not even share information back with us when it concerns a project? So that is my no vote. Now, but I heard something, and that's been my no vote the entire time. I even told Alan, and I think I really made him, is he still here? I think I really made him upset when I told him, I didn't even look at your project when this first was proposed, because I knew it would be good. I didn't even look at it, because that's not the hang-up that I have. I'm elected to be a protector of taxpayer money, and that's what I think I'm doing. But I heard something interesting. I heard an attorney speak for Alan and speak about it. I tried to write it down and could not. A number of a law that explains who is in control of the money. I'm ready.
Code 36-7-14-30I, subsection G. And there's also a regulation that's been adopted by a rule by DLGF that is 15 15th Indiana Administrative Code 8-2-13 that provides the same thing, and I'll provide your attorney with a copy of those.
Okay, and that is which leads me to my second thing I'd like to speak on this, is that this is becoming very difficult and much more murky than a casual observer would look at, because I heard someone say that the lawsuit involves the city. I don't think it involves the city. I think it involves the UEZ. That is a significant difference. And our attorney has never, who isn't here, neither is the administration attorney here for us to look to the guidance, nor is our regular, no offense to his replacement, our regular attorney here to provide us with guidance. So I can't now ask him about these things, because that isn't exactly, and I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt, I don't think anyone in dealing with me has been untruthful in any way in which they have dealt with me. But that is not exactly what these things are not matching up, and now we have attorneys involved. And we all know what happens when attorneys are involved. So that is the explanation that I think everyone was due, and if Alan didn't hear it the first time, a couple meetings ago, he was due for it then. And that's my problem with it. I cannot allow taxpayer money to go to this organization that has no audit control by us whatsoever. But if this is what I heard it to be, well, then we can have Alan and I can have a drink and have another conversation. But that is why I voted no. And there are other things I could talk about, but everybody's been here a long time, and I'll just be done.
So is there any way that I can ever respond to that comment? I get no opportunity to respond.
Did I say something that was untruthful?
No, I would like to clarify. Yes, number one, and two, I'd like to clarify.
The UEZ does not get the money. It goes into a special fund that you establish, and redevelopment spends it in the district based on the recommendations made by the UEZ.
Okay. I heard you say that, and that's why I wanted to look into it. I'm explaining again, that is not what has been explained to me by the people we hire to do this. So that's why we're going to have a conversation.
Without Les or Larry here, to me, the proper course of action would have been to table this so that we could discuss those things fully, because the agenda that was approved was consideration of the resolution, not a motion to reconsider a prior vote.
Though I voted yes, the idea of tabling that with a crowd like this, do you know how that would look?
Well, let's...
But I voted yes.
I'm finished. That's all my comments.
We're going by the advice of the attorney that we have tonight. I'm thrown... What? Okay.
That's all I'm at.
Councilperson, I'm trying to do the best I can. I didn't know I was going to run this meeting. So, Councilperson Owen.
I've been one of the yes votes from the beginning. This piece of property specifically has been a point of focus for me for the last 5 years. Before Mr. White was on the council, there was another staff member in the Department of Redevelopment here at the city. We worked on this project. Alan is actually the third developer that I've talked to about that piece of property, the second one that I've talked to seriously. And it matters not to me if it goes through the UEZ or through the Redevelopment Commission or through the guy down the street. Whatever it takes to get the project done, I hope that we can walk out of the room and work to find a way to get there. If the money needs to go to the TIF for the or for the Redevelopment Commission, that's fine. If there's some other fund that I've never heard of, and I've looked through all this a lot, but maybe that's something else we need to talk about. Maybe that wins over the vote. But however we need to get to there, I appreciate everybody coming and speaking their piece. I appreciate Leslie Lewis Sheets. You've been in downtown Jeff for, as you said, 25 years. So you've been through the dark ages, knowing what it was like on Spring Street. When we took over, I say we, I mean me. When I came onto the council in 2012, there were 14 vacant business fronts in 4 blocks, and look where we're at now. And to say, well, we want to hold off because there's a parking lot there, I think that's misguided. And if we're getting hung up on where the money's going to go, well, we can figure that out. We just need to figure it out. And if there's going to be 4 other council members that are willing to see that through so we can have a nice development on an unused corner for 50 years, then I would invite you to at least give me a call. That's all.
Councilperson Ellis.
Well, I heard my name mentioned a number of times that I had said why I didn't support this project, and it's true. I said I didn't support the project because I didn't like what was being developed there. But this situation could have been solved a long time ago if we had not had a representative that was president of the JUEZ that illegally signed the contract allowing this property to be transferred. Now that's why we're in litigation. And until we go through some litigation, until the court has made a decision, I will not vote for bringing this back up, or I will support it. I think once the litigation is over, then there could be some conversation about it. But until then, I stand by what I've done from day one, and that's say, no, I will not vote for it.
Councilperson Samuel.
It's been mentioned, and I won't rehash what people have said to this point, but I came to a meeting a number of meetings ago where this was on the agenda. I'd been told nothing ahead of time. Then we talked about at the meeting. Some issues came up, and we voted it down for various reasons at the time. I've spoken with Alan. What makes it so hard is Alan's a likable guy. He's a friend. He's a leader in our community. It's days like this, they're horrible. They're horrible days when you're on this side of the table. And it's come back to us 3 times for a vote, and every time it's just horrible because on one hand our attorney just has given the instruction, just be cautious what you say, put things in writing, don't just say stuff, put it in writing because it's going to come back and be used against you personally or the city. And so that's why I'm very hesitant to say anything. I've shared that with Alan. And so that's, I guess, my take. When it was first voted down, one of the council members said, don't worry about it. We'll bring it back in January, and it'll all take care in January because there's going to be a new council. And that's what I thought was going to happen. Since then, it's come back twice. And it sounds like somebody's going to try to bring it back again. And it's very unfortunate because it makes our city look bad. And it's unfortunate that the ones that are bringing it back are the ones that are being held up as being the ones that are doing the right thing for the city. There are processes in place, and we're trying to follow processes that we know and that what we're advised by our attorneys. That's where I'm at with this. I do appreciate everybody's comments tonight. I share most of them with you as far as about this project. There's some things that I do have some concerns about or questions about. I have asked some of those, and some have been explained. But again, I won't keep rehashing that.
Can I please have 1 minute?
That's all I have to say.
Okay, let's see. I don't even know where.
Well, we need to do the tax rate. The ordinance on the budget.
Should I hold off on my comments then? Oh.
Still open.
I don't even know where to begin. I'm running a meeting tonight that Ed couldn't be here. I'm trying to do the best I can. I can't hear everything because I got 2 clogged ears. So if I offended anybody or whatever, sorry, but can you let me? I got a crowd that's upset with me, and I don't even know. I'm just trying to keep this meeting moving. I told Alan the first time that this was presented to us, I explained in the meeting that I tried to do my due diligence like I always do. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find minutes. I couldn't get a copy of this so-called agreement. We didn't find out about an agreement until afterwards. There was a lot of what Scott has said and what the rest of them have said. And I voted no, and I publicly stated why I voted no. I publicly stated that I do not agree with that because I couldn't find, as a council person, and being vice president of council, I should have been able to go to the clerk's office and get minutes. I should have been able to get copies of, like I do with every other vote, to be able to do my due diligence, and I couldn't find anything. It comes back so I voted no against it because I did not want it to go into the JUEA. I wanted to go into redevelopment. Redevelopment has done a lot of work downtown. They've got their TIFs that are going to be sunsetting, and they need that money. Alan, I have talked to you after every vote. We've texted. I've tried to be respectful. I've let you know my reasons why. It came up a second time, and I voted no again for that. And I will keep voting no, and I'm sorry that, this is a tough seat. There's a lot that's going on that we can't speak about. We were told after the last meeting, I always say why I vote or don't vote for something, but we were legally advised not to say a word. I took that under advisement. We've had a hard time this go around because our attorney has not been here. There's been a change in procedure tonight. I'm just going by legal counsel. I'm just trying to do my best. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do my best here. But what I will tell you is this. I will not support anything going to the JUEA, and I will support later on this year for the city not to be associated with the JUEA. So why I'm not going to vote for something that's going to go into something that I have found a lot of issues with, and for the money to go there.
It doesn't go into there. You're missing a key factor.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Our attorneys, 2 attorneys, have told us otherwise. We had another attorney come up here and say something. We're going to look into that. We're taking in what we can, especially with our attorney not here. So we have another attorney that just said something I've never even heard for before. Have any of you all heard anything that attorney that came up here and said? Okay. I'm just going to stop because no matter what, okay, we will, okay. We will move on to Heather. Let's do one more thing before the council comments here. Keep in mind, we did do our planning and zoning appointments tonight, but we still have to do the building authority appointment. Larry's been asking for that, so can we put that on the agenda for the next meeting? Okay, Heather, can we do the
number 53?
Madam President, a statement was made from a council person that I had done something illegal. I was the president, signed the closing documents, and that is pure speculation. I want to make sure that's on the record. Wells is not an attorney. Has stated that something was illegal and he has no idea whether it was or not.
I'm having a very hard time hearing, so I hope everybody...
I'll check the minutes to make sure too.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe with all the projects that were brought to the council, the match that UEZ did were sent to the council. I'm not sure what
Oh, Ed is going to get a earful from me. So is Larry. So now we discussed why we didn't vote for it. Now
Thank you.
all there, I just got.
That's okay.
Madam President, I also want to be clear. You stated that Mr. Samuel correctly stated what I said. It was my intention to wait until the new year. And as I said in my comments, maybe he didn't hear them, that the business wanted to put it on the agenda, not me. So that is a fact. So I just want to make sure that he understood that. And if anyone else wants to go ahead and say that they're not going to vote to renew the urban enterprise zone, they should probably make that known now. So nobody has to waste any time putting an ordinance together.
Heather?
Okay, so Vicki handed out a new one of these with the new totals, and then also you all have new pages to replace. I didn't print them all for you, just the pages that changed. But I did have a full copy for the clerk's office, so you've got a full new copy of the whole entire budget with all the new numbers. So for 2020, the total budget for all the funds that you are approving is $54,320,693. You're adopting a levy of $29,622,000 with a tax rate of 1.8515. The levy and the rate is higher than what will be approved because we don't have net AVs to actually have true numbers. So these are estimated or adopted high, and the DLGF will bring them down to what the maximum levy can be. So if you're curious of what the levy was for 2019, just curious, that's $28,611,349 with a tax rate of 1.6813. So you're adopting it high so that they'll bring them down. And this is a public hearing.
Wait a minute. What was that very last thing? I'm having a hard time hearing
The
it.
tax rate for 2019,
2019?
this year's tax rate is 1.6813. Just if you wanted to compare this year to what you're adopting.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak for or against or make a comment about the proposed budget for 2020? And I will officially close public hearing.
Sit under support.
Thank you.
What's the ordinance number?
53. Oh, yeah.
Motion to approve 19 OR 53
On the what?
on the first and second reading.
Okay, I got a motion and a second to pass 2019 OR 53 on the first and second reading. Any further questions,
I did have
discussion?
one question, sorry.
Okay.
Heather, you said that currently our rate's 1.6813,
Yes.
but this says 1.8515 for next year?
Yes, you have to adopt high, and they'll bring it down to because you're only allowed to go up 3.5%, something like that.
And remind me, the cuts are in the...
All the changes that you made today and...
No. The circuit breaker,
Yes.
we've allowed money in here for the circuit. But because, the reason I'm asking, if we've adopted the budget high and they wind up cutting it, I just want to make sure that we're good to go on, because we were so close with everything, making sure that all the changes we made, there'll still be money in the revenue to cover those.
Yes.
Okay. And I know the mayor talks about our rate hasn't raised.
Correct.
Do you anticipate it dropping down to 1.6813 or lower?
Yes, I
Your
anticipate it,
experience?
yeah,
Okay.
because I think our AVs are going up.
Sure, I can see that. Thank you.
Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Before I ask for adjournment.
That's first and second?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to hear what Scotty
About her?
No, wait, I want to.
She wants you to say the nice things that you've done.
Back on the record. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Patsy.
before we adjourn, will somebody please tell me what they were saying? Why were they so mad at me? What were they saying? Or they wanted to know why we said no, and advice against not saying no. We said why we said no. I could not hear what they were saying.
I think they might be getting ready to tell you again.
Oh, no, I did not mean to be disrespectful or whatever. I got thrown into this meeting. I can't hear, and if they don't like that, I don't know what to say, but
Motion to adjourn.
so moved.